All right, we're gonna do a little bit of a different video on this Grand Design Solitude. That's what it is. 40 some feet, fifth wheel. We're gonna do a solar install on it, and we're gonna show you step by step how we're doing it, mistakes and all, because it's not always perfect every time. Well, it leaves perfect as we can get it, but sometimes there's always little snags along the way, so stick around. And we're gonna start with the front bay where all the magic's gonna happen. And then we got JD here too.
Howdy.
So we're gonna start with putting all the magic in this bay here. We got plenty of room. A lot of times they put a generator in these. And it's already pre-wired for solar, so we are going to use those wires over there. But JD was talking about measuring for a backer board there, so we'd like to install that on there. So we just make sure one will fit, and then we install everything to that board.
Are they planning on doing a generator? Do we need to save any room for that?
No, they're actually going to do a generator in the back.
All right. Supervisor's coming.
All right, what are we doing wrong, girl? All right. She's been hanging out with us.
Let's get this measured up. So we're gonna do what, batteries down low?
Yeah, I think so. We're gonna do 4 Battleborn batteries in here, and they were thinking about the possibility of 6, so we'll probably want to at least leave room for those. But
okay.
I'm thinking, I mean, we got so much room up there.
We've got the slide controllers are up here.
Yeah.
You want to go over top of those, or we might have enough wire to move them to the side?
Well, I think there's plenty of room just to go underneath them.
From here down?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Because I got all that 24-inch backer board cut, so like...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you betcha.
24 works perfect there.
Yeah. Got that right there. We could run it 24 by...
I think we got
60.
all the room we want to use.
Right on the money. We got a 5-foot backer board here.
Oh boy. You know what? Let's hit the siren. 5-foot backer board.
That's... Let's just pre-cut all of them to that.
So one of the things we've been trying to do is sort out exactly, like come up with a standard for the backer boards, like 16 inches, 18 inches, 24 inches. And lately, 24-inch high seems to fit most Victron components and fit into most bays without too much trouble. Rather than custom cutting them and ending up with a lot of scrap on all of our boards, because they come in 4x8 sheets. Not to say that in some cases that we wouldn't make a custom height and custom size one, but especially when we're traveling in the bus, it's hard to rip down 4x8 sheets of plywood. All right, are you satisfied?
Yeah, I'm gonna get that cut down, carpeted, and we can start placing stuff.
Okay.
I think that should fit nice.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, we like to do carpet on all the stuff. It makes it look nice.
Looks nice, attaches nice.
Yeah. Covers our mistakes.
Feels soft, fluffy.
Well, of course, of course. And then the other thing we gotta do, oh, not in there. So the other thing I'm gonna be doing is running the AC lines from here to go to the inverter to the panel in here. So the main panel is right there in the RV, and that gets right into that pass-through space. Should be pretty easy peasy. Don't have to go inside, underneath, nothing like that. So those are the two things we're gonna be working on.
Is this our backer board? We're gonna be slicing down?
Yes, that is the backer board that we got some stuff on that we're probably gonna have to... I don't know that... I know we got 5 feet to work with, but I would say... I don't know. Because there's not a lot of stuff that... I don't think we're gonna necessarily need all 5 feet of it.
So maybe we leave it length and just start playing around with arrangements, however far we need to?
To a certain extent, yeah. I mean, I think we could...
I think we can get it laid out before we cut it down. And
yeah, we can put the components on there.
would they ever look at expansion? adding another Multiplus? I mean, these guys are going to be living full time, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, just from us living our bus full time, you learn a lot the first few months, and then you want to upgrade.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let's
That's what we did.
all right. Let's do all right, then let's maximize the options. We'll just do full 5-foot backer board like we talked about. Plywood's relatively cheap in this kind of project. What's the boss say?
I think that's a yes, judging by the heavy breathing.
All right, so I'll clear some of this crap off and we'll start laying some things out there roughly. Oh no, it doesn't matter. That's right.
Mark this.
Just mark it.
Because we don't have to cut it right away.
No, we can cut it whenever we want. All right, so we're just double checking. We've got the room for the batteries and the board and everything here. And so we're gonna push the board as far as we can up so that there's room for the batteries down here.
Right there's 5 feet.
And then, yeah, we're gonna do the board all the way there to 5 feet. So we're gonna have to rearrange some of this. We're gonna move the breaker for the house DC supply up above here. And then this is the pre-wire for solar. And I don't wanna really splice that, so the breaker for that is gonna have to move maybe here or something, and maybe we notch out that board a little bit just to support that. And then the Multiplus, I think we're gonna move over a little bit so that we have room for a second one if the customer decides that that's what they want later. Trying to give them upgrade options and make it look good all at the same time. So a lot of what we end up doing is thinking about different ways that things might be upgraded, changed, installed, and making sure that we're not burning any bridges in that regard, that we're not locked into any scenarios as much as possible. Some hard decisions are going to have to be made, but we always try and think through and do it as if it was ours. How would we want it done? And so far it's kept us out of trouble. All right, so remember when I talked about all the planning and stuff, we are back to planning. How are we going to lay everything out on this board? And this is going to represent our 150 by 100 solar charge controller that arrives actually in tomorrow. It was supposed to be here sooner. It was my fault. So we're just going to mock that up and know where it's at, and then we'll drop that in there before delivery, of course, and testing and all that stuff. So we're starting to do a little bit of assembly now, and one of the things we've been doing quite a bit is the shunt here. Actually, this is probably a good way to do it. The shunt right on the Lynx distributor, and we'll pull that off there. That goes on top of there. Now sometimes we'll space this out a little bit, but actually once you tighten them all down, it's kind of like one complete unit. And then you can have a lot of fun, and you can put the disconnect right on here. What's nice about that is then it covers up this positive as well, and just less connections. It seems to work pretty good as one complete unit. So JD is going to drill out these holes. That's the one thing you have to do, is drill out these holes. And then the thing that we make sure we always do is to deburr and get this surface as flat as possible, because any burr on there will give you a hot connection, which is not good. All right, JD's got the real safety situation going on.
Oh, yeah.
He's not using the safety squint like I do.
That's true. Get this drilled out. At the risk of this taking until 1 p.m.
Are you pushing very hard on that or no?
No, not really.
Oh, I
Should we
usually
just ream it in there?
Yeah, because then it makes bigger chips.
Yeah, I usually found that then it flies out of my hand.
Oh.
Drill.
You want me to give it a try?
Sure, go for it.
We're gonna trade.
Show me how it's done.
I'll show you how it's
I
done.
want to see how the hair. Oh, that was my problem. I wasn't flipping those up.
No, yeah. This is how I do it. Oh, I wasn't even squinting. But yeah, then the shavings are a little bit longer. A little bit pressure, a little slower speed, but you do got to grab onto it. Hit that with a file a little bit. beautiful. So I suppose if we would have clamped that down, it would probably, then I could have focused on just holding this and maybe get the little handle on there. Maybe that'd be a little bit easier, but I'm always learning as I go.
I'll be honest, this lighting is not flattering on your face.
No, that's fine. What were you saying there?
I think we're at the point, we got the layout pretty much figured out. We can just cut this backboard, get the carpet on it, start mounting a few pieces, and then getting the wiring and the rig pulled. I think that's about where we're at now.
Yeah, it's coming together pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, JD's getting the board ready to be spray adhesed.
I got a little bit on there now.
Hold on, we got Maya here, another neighbor dog. She's coming over and inspecting. You know, I think we're getting a little management top heavy here. I don't know, we got 2 management dogs now. So yeah, we like to spray adhesive the carpet onto the board, and then we found that's been holding it on pretty good. And then it gets screwed into the back wall, so it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you gonna give me a hand holding the board up?
Sure,
okay.
sure. Well,
spray it up.
Sure.
All right.
All right, we got that on there. Now we're just getting the edges. Hold on, let's see what's going on. There's some kind of management meeting going on over here. All right, I guess we still got a job. What'd you decide, Maya? Nothing? Coco, what do we got going on? Okay, back to work. Doing some upholstery work, making the corners look good.
Corners on the back side that nobody sees.
I think JD's better at this than I am. That's about the same.
Let's try that cut now. There we go.
And this is 3/4 ply. It's nice to have a good firm. Let's see the reveal. Oh, it looks good. Down in that bay, it looks so nice there. Now we can start putting some things on there.
Yeah.
All right, so we're still hard at work here in the shop, lab, whatever. And I'm putting together that special cable that I talk about all the time that lights up the lights on the Lynx distributor. And what I put together a little guide on how to wire it. I could put that online if anybody's interested. Just because the only other forms were video, so I made a wiring diagram for myself. And then here's one that's put together. I just haven't put the final piece of heat shrink on it. And then here's one with the individual pieces. This is the 6-pin phone jack type cord. The like 20 to whatever, the 12 volt to 5 volt converter. And then these are the ring terminals on the little extension of wire I add on there. And then heat shrink all those, and then put the big piece of heat shrink over all of it. And JD is over here working on the layout of all the components, and he's kind of discovered something here.
This fits perfect. This little stubby guy we got right here, where the one lug, the flat part is on the down side, the other lug is on the top side, and then just have them right in here with the 4/0 crimped in the middle. It's the perfect step up to go from our shutoff disconnect to the disaster fuse.
All right.
So that's a win.
Yeah. So, yeah, the other thing we're thinking about, and definitely be curious on your comments down below, is do you think anyone would want a Lynx distributor with the disconnect, the shunt, and that light up cable all as a single unit? I'm thinking about maybe providing those to people, because it's just such a nice, neat package for a smaller system. So, anyway, we are still hard at work here, putting it together. All right, JD's here, just making 4/0 cable.
Oh yeah.
It's a tedious job, but somebody's got to do it. It's all precision, so he's been working on that, and I'm gonna start running some other cable, and I thought I'd show you how I'm gonna do that. So we're back at the front of the bay, or the front of the front bay here, where we're gonna install everything. And there's a couple of ports up here where some conduit and things run. So I think we're gonna keep that going there, and we're gonna run a couple other things. We gotta run AC in and out, and then HDMI and USB for the servo. So how that's gonna happen is, I think we're gonna piggyback off of what's going on here and run that all four of those cable sets through here, and then up through here, and then we can get access to all that back there. To pull that panel off is just 4 screws. And this is definitely something I see on almost all these RVs, is there's a ton of space here. Like with a little bit of reorganization, you could get a ton more storage out of this if you really wanted to. But enough about that. What I like to see here is easy access to the main panel. So we can run our AC lines there. And we do have an option to run the servo up where those wires are. But that's not our first choice. Talk with the customer. Our first choice is probably going to be going up through here. And let's go inside and talk about that. So as you're coming in, it seems like a lot of people mount it right here, and there's probably for good reason for that. Is you can see all main panel electronics run through there. Be pretty simple to get it through there. I'm guessing it all goes back through. There's a false back here or some kind of wire chase that runs through there. So it'd be easy to put it right here. However, that other one that we saw comes up through there, and probably all the wiring for the lights and different things comes right through here. So this should also be an option. Trouble is, I don't know exactly what's behind here. So my thought was to try and use a sharp chisel and just pop that open a little bit. There we go. Oop. Look at that. All kinds of goodies through here. So at least now I know what's behind here, and that'll be really easy just to pop that back into place. Quick little update here, actually without too much trouble. I just popped this off, and like I said, so this is free there. We've got some openings there into the floor. Brought JD in to consult on this, and he's thinking we can just feed an HDMI cord straight up through an existing hole, and it turns out he's right. So that solves half of the problem, and I think we can get probably the actually look, he just pulled out a glob, and there's plenty of room. Actually, we can fit the USB through that same one. So now all we got to do is just mount the touchscreen, and we're good to go. Nice work, JD.
Thanks. It's really hard.
Anytime we can prevent from adding extra holes in RVs, we like to do that.
That is a win.
Yep. All right. Got the servo display mounted. Looking good. And we're going to feed this. We're going to feed the servo display and HDMI, or the display and USB through that hole. And I got it electrical taped together, so that should never come apart. And then we can button this up, never to be opened again. Alright, now I'm inside the bay here. The HDMI and the USB have come down from there. And JD's making some noise over there. And it's all going through that hole there into the front bay. And then these are the 2 AC lines to come. They go up there and up to the main breaker panel, which I have pulled out up front. And those we will all wrap in conduit and make it look nice and pretty. Tuck it up against the ceiling. It'll look, well, as good as the rest of the conduit that's up there. And then, actually we're getting close. We could probably just button this back up. I don't think I even need to get in here and again. So there's that, that panel is pulled out. Then what I'll do is I'll take one of these and connect it to the main panel. And then the cable that is going there, I'll wire nut that to the other one, tape it up, and just tuck it back in there, and it's good to go. So usually what I end up doing is we'll hook up the Multiplus, and I'll separate these wires out first and hook up the Multiplus to one of them, and then whichever one is live, connect to the panel, and then whichever one's dead, connect it to the power input as the AC input on the Multiplus. It's the only real reliable way I've found to know which wire is which, because they get twisted up and they look exactly the same, and it's not a big deal to me. It's worked so far. Let's go check in on Coco. She's doing good. JD's got some batteries going. I guess he's thinking maybe we should add that interstate in there as well.
Oh yeah.
That's a joke, everybody.
Maximize.
That's a joke. Looks like he's repositioned some of the other components there, and yeah,
We got room for that backboard now.
Yeah. We're gonna put that on right away.
Why not?
Okay, we can put that on. We are waiting for a couple of more components to arrive. We had a looks like a shipping exception on our solar panels, but everything else should be here tomorrow. So we'll everything probably have a good portion of this wrapped up tomorrow, maybe for sure by Thursday, and then send this guy home. But we've got plenty of work to do, so we're gonna get back to it. Almost forgot to include you guys on this. We're ready to put this board on, and figured you'd come along for the ride. Hold on, do you want to?
Yeah, level it.
Yeah, now we can.
We're gonna go off the top. Wow, 4.5 on that bar.
That's pretty cool. I thought I saw for you. Are we level right now? Or a little
We're maybe just up on an 1/8. We're really sneaking close. I'd call that good.
Okay.
Where are some others? Yeah, I'm gonna loosen this and resync this one down. It's
That's fine.
pushed out just a bit.
Sometimes we'll put the board up without the Multiplus because it's so heavy, especially if just one person's doing it, and then you can hang the Multiplus. But being that we're two handsome and strong gentlemen, we just took care of it. Now again, that charger should arrive tomorrow, and we'll pop that in there right away. That's just a placeholder.
There we go. There we go.
That's it.
If the customer stops by, he won't even notice it.
Oh, jeez. So this is pretty crazy. Turns out we can stand up in this.
Kind of nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Our feet are on the floor, but we're on the ground, but we're standing. And JD's running the HDMI and USB up along here. We'll zip tie it all up there, or maybe put it into some conduit, and put in the cable trays, and run that to the servo. So we got plenty to do before this thing comes alive, but it's definitely coming together. Is there something jammed in there?
No, I just had it the wrong way.
That's the thing with USB. You put it in one way, it doesn't fit. Flip it around, still doesn't fit. You flip it around again. All right, so I think this is gonna finish it up for. Oh.
There we go.
All right.
And protect that.
Yep. I think we're gonna call her quits for today. That's where we ended up. But a lot of things done. I'm pretty happy with it. I would say we're in good shape to get this done on time. We've never been late before. So if you got any questions on what we're doing, if we did something you didn't see on here, put the comments down below. But we're gonna continue tomorrow. All right, we're back in action. Day 2. It's actually the afternoon. we've been waiting on some parts, and some things have not quite arrived, but we did get the solar charger in, so we get to replace that with, or the cardboard one with the real one.
This one was so nice too. That's, how close were you at the dimensions?
Oh,
yeah,
nailed it.
That's
on the bottom.
That's yeah. Wow.
So on JD here, he got the batteries taken care of, and I think we tried to leave enough room on the negative side for an extra couple of batteries if the customer wanted. And yeah, Multiplus, we tested that. That's working. And we've got the AC input landed, or no, the AC output landed, and we know where that goes on the box. And maybe while JD gets that hung, I am gonna take care of the no, I'm gonna take care of the inside wiring, I think. And Coco's keeping things under control. Here we are at the main panel. Got this obviously taken out. That comes off pretty easy with just a couple of screws. But I wanted to make note of a couple of things. If you're doing this, something you want to do is unplug the converter. If you don't unplug that converter when you do a whole house replacement inverter like the Multiplus 2 is, it'll backfeed itself. I had a customer that their battery bank was constantly dead, and that's all that was wrong. The converter just kept charging itself from batteries, and it just backfeeds itself and will drain the batteries over time. So unplug that. Alright, so my next point of business is to unplug the red and the black and the white, the big thick cables there, and then we'll deal with those in a little bit, and then we land the new ones in right where they were. It's pretty simple. And this is all de-energized because we're not plugged up to shore, and the inverter's off. Right, JD, the inverter's off, right?
Correct.
I gotta pop this gland out here. Let me tell you, it's not the funnest always working on these. There we go. Alright. Okay, so I got these out of here. Not always the most fun. And then these I connect up to the to this other end here. And this is going to be the AC in on the Multiplus. So all we're doing is basically taking shore power, whatever comes out of shore, or the automatic transfer switch, if there's a generator, you feed into the inverter, and then it deals with it from there. So yeah, I'm going to work with this I think right away. I'll show you how to join those together. I've been using these big wire nuts, and you got to prep these in a little bit of a specific way to keep the connection as safe as possible. But these work pretty well. Alright, I'm going to try and show this as best I can. When I'm joining these together, let's say we're going to do these two black ones here. Try and hold on here. So strip off plenty of from both sides, and then tape them together just to keep them together and even. Makes that the next step a whole lot easier. And then just take your linesman's pliers and start twisting them together a little bit like this. And that makes a good secure connection where you're trying to kind of braid each of them together to make a single wire. And then you just tape it up. No. You take a wire nut, and this is big enough to bite into both of these. This is this blue one. And once it starts getting hard, I like to take this and give it a couple of more turns just to really make sure it's good. And I usually pull on it as well, make sure it's not going anywhere. And then I'll take some tape, tape that up. And that one's done. And then I do the rest with the other ones. Alright, so we got this, all those connections made there, looking okay. This is looking pretty good here, all taped up. Let's go check in with JD. And oh, you know what? I don't know if we ever showed this. This is cleaned up. All the cables right through there, and then we can button that up. Nothing to do there. Oh, JD, how are we looking?
Oh, looking good. Strapping this stuff in conduit up here.
Okay.
Our lines going to the coach, their solar, our HDMI, USB. I think that's all that's going in here.
Sure. We did have to coil up a bunch of the extra USB and HDMI up there, but that's just the way it is.
We'll make it look a little prettier.
As best we can, yeah. And yeah, you can see the charge controller there is looking good. There's room for extra stuff if the client so desires. And we're getting pretty close to, well, actually at this moment with the panel done, we can start to fire things up. So we're pretty close to, I would say, calling today almost a wrap. It's been a lot of fiddly stuff, and tomorrow is going to be the big solar day. And we haven't done a whole lot on that yet, in part because we're still waiting for them. There was a shipment exception from FedEx. Should have been here pretty much the day this thing showed up, but that's the way it goes. We do have a backup option, but we're hoping the panels are going to show up tomorrow. We'll see. Got the conduit up there, and JD's fitting one of the covers, and having a little trouble getting it to fit. What'd you do there?
Just have to trim a little bit on the inside. Our 2-gauge wire that's running from the charge controller down to the links. That wire is not easy to bend, but this is easy to cut out. So
yeah, so we're getting creative to make that fit. Sometimes we got to do that when we have the 4/0 wire coming out of the links there as well. But in this case, we didn't even put it in the cover. We are on the hunt for larger cable tray raceway. It's probably on the way, and look for that in future videos. I think maybe before we close today out, maybe we'll turn this bugger on, maybe even.
Ooh, settle down.
Just to, you know, just to feel like we really accomplished something today.
Alright, that fits there. It's almost all the way on. There it goes.
That sounded better.
There it is. And it looks nice too. Oh, no, I missed one.
This is why you want JD working on your rig, everybody.
Bugger.
This is why you want him working on it. Alright, management has been saying that we gotta pick up the pace here, so we're gonna see after JD's done cleaning up a couple of things, we're gonna fire this thing up, and hopefully no magic smoke comes out.
We're about ready for it.
All right, JD, you've been spending the most time in here. Why don't you do the honors?
Let's turn this thing on. So we got our battery disconnect. That is now on.
All
We
right.
got power on our links. No red lights. That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Looks like the servo's booting up.
Yeah.
Should we turn the inverter on?
Sure.
All right.
It should. The coach should light up on that.
Yep. Inverter on.
That's good. None of the issues there, and as usual, before we send this guy home, we will do a full load test, but that'll be tomorrow. But yeah, we're in good shape. All we got to do, I mean, breaker's set up. It's currently off. All that's in conduit. We'll probably got a cable clamp AC mains to something. Actually, we probably got a little extra conduit we could use to clean those up a little bit, but we're in darn good shape. Let's go inside and see, hopefully, that the servo is on. Oh, all right. Maybe JD might have made a rookie mistake here.
Uh-oh.
Here's one thing I like to do real quick. On the system setup for an RV, check has DC system, and then you get the DC power. That's how you get that. But we're missing the solar charger. I'll show you. I'm pretty sure.
Is that just the cable?
Yeah, the Ethernet probably isn't in the VE bus. On the
VE bus.
In the Multiplus.
Can.
Yeah.
I gotta go over here.
Yep.
That would do it. So it was in the BMS can, and then we put it in the VE bus, but we want VE can. So let's try this now.
Ah, there we go.
You betcha.
Bringing in nothing, but that's all right. There's no. I'd be more concerned if we were bringing in something. So, all right. I think that'll probably about do it for today. There's 4 different Ethernet ports you can use on the Servo GX. It can be confusing. Just try them all till you get it right. No, it can be confusing. So just pay attention. I think management says it's time to go for a walk or go inside, get something to drink. What do you say, girl? All right, we got a busy day here today on the final day. We got a battery state of charge test for a little battery review we're doing. It's almost done. I should probably, oh, look at that. 99% or 99 amp hours out of a 100 amp hour battery. That's pretty good. But we got our solar panels in. We got JD and pulled in the utility infielder Levi to help out a little bit to get these panels going. I'm going to be getting them up on the roof, and hopefully we can get all 9 to fit. All right, so we got 4 of the panels up here. We got to get 5 more. I think we're going to have the room. I like to lay them down upside down at first. Just there's no risk of the brackets then damaging the roof at all. It just seems like a better way to do it. So, and then you can move them around and all that. Not a big deal. So I think we got our layout figured out. It's the first time we've put this much solar on this particular RV, and they're all a little different. JD's wondering why we ever started doing this.
Some days, yeah.
No, it is a little warm up here, isn't it?
Just a bit.
Definitely not much shade here. So we got a couple still upside down, but we're starting to figure it out here. So we're gonna run again. Then we're gonna do 3 series, 3P. So, and those are all gonna go to the pre-wired Jaboni port. It's such a weird name, but that's what it is. And so yeah, it's gonna be 1800 watts total, which is definitely over paneled for what we're considering here, or for the controller. But at this latitude, in the conditions we're going to be in, or the customer's going to be in, that's just perfect. And proof will be in the pudding here in a couple minutes when we get it all wired up. So we were almost thinking about starting to screw them down. We were getting excited, but what I like to do is to actually wire them all up first and test it, because that way if I got a bad crimp or a bad connection somewhere, we can identify it and fix it before they're all screwed down. So that's my thought. Sound good?
Sense?
Yeah, I think that does. So we're gonna do that. We got to make a couple of runs to get to that port, and then yeah, we'll check in probably when that's going on. And JD is doing the programming today.
All right.
We've got they're all wired up, looking pretty good. All 9, count them. So we're gonna go down and fire up that controller and maybe do some programming, and then come back up here and screw them all down. Sound good? All right, comment down below if you think we should do anything different, and we'll take it under advisement. Now we're down here in the bay. It's a little cooler. We're getting a refreshment. And
Victron Connect.
Yep.
Oh, come on,
Dave's firing up the Victron Connect app on the...
Dave is my name?
That's right. Sorry, that's an inside joke that you got to be here for, and you weren't here for it, ladies and gentlemen. So
Dave's away at the moment. I'm looking for local.
Yep. Is that? Yeah. Is that?
What I'm looking for.
You got the Bluetooth on?
Let's see here. Where's my? Let's try the that thing. I got the Wi-Fi. Seriously, I don't use this thing enough. Bluetooth. Add a Bluetooth device. Show Bluetooth devices.
Is it like on?
There's a Surface cover.
Well, I'm more.
Do we need to turn stuff on here? Because it's all off.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you need to turn this on. All right, step one. Before you got to do any of that, you got to turn this stuff on.
Ever wonder why it doesn't work? Tried turning it off and on again.
All right, we just turned the main breaker on there too.
The solar main breaker.
Yes, the solar main breaker. And oh, we got to pull this off because we got to do a little programming there.
Oh, that's right.
That's okay. That's all right. So hit the refresh button on there. Maybe things will start to show up. All right, something's complaining inside a little bit. I'm gonna go see what the error is.
All right.
Oh, low bat. Oh, all right. It's saying low battery voltage. I'm guessing that's because it thinks it's on a 24-volt system. All right. I think the MPPT probably thinks it's in 24 volt. Still not showing up on the Windows computer there?
No.
All right. Well, we've JD's got most of this programmed up. We're not throwing stones here, but the Surface tablet wasn't getting it done. I don't know enough about it. I have not been a Windows user in a long time. We're not trying to start a war here, but the old MacBook's working okay. Hey, you know what? Use the technology to get it done. I don't really care. Use a Linux command line terminal for all I care. But yeah, we are in actually we're in absorption and running the AC right now. Go over to the, maybe we can go inside, or you should be able to hit the that's probably not a great way to see it. Let's go look inside. Let's see what's going on there.
Okay.
And yeah, this ended up being, this was configured as 24 volts, the solar charger, so we switched that. That should no longer complain. And the Multiplus should show up here shortly. Yep, it's just waiting. And at this moment, yeah, we are pretty much running air conditioning off of solar. And it is, what time is it? 3:30?
Yeah, 3:30.
In the afternoon in August in Minnesota. That's not bad. Now there's 1800 watts on the roof, but we're starting to get a little bit of partial shading on the panels. But that's one of the reasons why we're over paneling, is now we're using that charger pretty much at maximum capacity right now. So it's working as designed. This particular customer could have been running air conditioner all day and pretty much lost no state of charge with this system. All right, they are all screwed down, die cord, underneath, on top, in the middle, just like an Oreo sandwich. Still got the air conditioner running, because why not? And we're gonna need Turnabond tape down some of these wires, and then I think we're gonna call the roof done. And then just the kind of final walkthrough thing, and then this project is out the door. Here's one final look here. I think we did a pretty good job. Let's see what we're making for power. AC is still on. Ooh, oh, looks like we need to set the battery capacity. We didn't do that. Probably set at 200, really that's 400. And now we're definitely using some power. That partial shade really is a killer. Well, maybe a mess everywhere else on the grounds, but this Grand Design Solitude has really come together. JD's just finishing up a little bit in here. We do have the LED strip in here. That'll look real good at night when you show it off to, you know, the neighbors or somebody. They say, here's what I always figure: you want it to look good in here because they're gonna say, how much did that run you? And you're gonna be like, and then you open up this panel, it's got a wow, you know, it's got to look good. That's what we aim for. Just yeah, just doing the finishing touches here.
Covers back on, and
we did leave some extra lugs for expansion, so that'll be good to go. So from all of us here at Soda Solar, JD, me, Coco, the neighbor dog Maya,
the rest of the team,
yeah, everybody else, and all of you in the comments, and we love hearing from you and all that. And yeah, thank you for following along, sticking around this long. And if you want us to do something to your RV, check us out at sotasolar.com, SOTA solar.com. Link down below, and we can set you up. Or if you just want the equipment, we can sell you that too. We don't have to actually do it. We are Victron and Battleborn dealers. We can get you everything you need, and that actually helps us out as well. So until next time, catch you later. Bye.